morning. We're live. I have Dave and Aaron with me, and I'm Jenny from DS Tech, the beautiful Upper Peninsula, if you don't know where we're from. And we're talking productivity tips. We're working at home because we do have a lot of people going home again.
Yep.
And some people have never come back. So maybe you could use some productivity tips. We have a whole list. But before I go into that, make sure that you go to our website and sign up for our newsletter, because I give you weekly tips and weekly news on what's going on in cybersecurity and whatever else. I mean, there's even productivity tips in there on how to use different software packages, you know, like Excel and whatever else you use in Word and all kinds of stuff. I think this last newsletter had a tip for organizing or bringing in your bookmarks for Chrome, if you ever wanted to do that, if you were switching to Chrome. Anyway.
A good reason why a topic like being productive at home or organizing your time at home is important is many of the businesses that DS Tech works with regularly have a vast number of employees, and many of them do work remotely, as Jenny had mentioned.
Yep.
But there is a trend occurring in the workforce with businesses and employees desiring to work from home.
Yes.
So looking for jobs specifically to work from home.
Yes.
So now here are some tips and strategies businesses can use to
Help their employees
Right.
be productive at home.
So you hire people with the idea to work remotely.
They're not sleeping.
Right.
They're doing their work, or they're not.
I actually had one of our customers, the owner of a company, call me about 2 years ago when we were just starting off with the people going home because of the coronavirus. And he wanted to be able to literally look at and track his employees' screens and mouse movements and keyboard
Yeah.
to see
Yeah.
if they were actually doing it, like literally monitor them that closely. And I told him, well, you know, I didn't think we could do that with any, but I said you have to have a little faith in, they send you home and with the belief that you're going to still be productive. So this is how you're going to be productive. We'll give you those tips right now.
Right now. So the first one was interesting that when I looked up all kinds of different tips, right? So the first one we're going to mention is to start off with a little bit of quiet time and meditate or something, just to have that calm moment before you start your day.
Yeah, decompress before everything gets kind of hectic and crazy. I think most environments, certainly the DS Tech environment, is fairly busy most days. And
Well, yeah, once you get started, your phone's going off, your cell phone is notifying you, and then we have our Teams is messaging us, and it gets kind of crazy. But if you turn all that off, right?
The great basketball coach John Wooden talked about tying your shoes. He had this big long thing about how to tie your shoes, which had nothing to do with tying your shoes. It was time to leave your personal life behind and start focusing on the game.
Oh,
so that's
it's
what
like
you
a
can look at
transition.
like this. Yes.
Okay.
I'm not, Dave at home anymore. I'm becoming Dave the employee.
Yeah.
So I think that would be
got our basketball jerseys on.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Ready to score for the team.
Yep. Go team.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's next?
Well, the next one is very important too, and this is whether you're home or in the office, and that's stick to a routine. I think through an 8-9 hour workday, most of us have a pretty standard, solid routine. It jostles a bit when you have to go home, or maybe you're doing back and forth, but the idea is still the same. Is if you're going to be productive on your tasks, you need to still stick to those key routine elements. And as we were talking before, Jenny had mentioned, one of her big tasks any given day is the procurement aspect of DS Tech, and she has to do those things every day. And likewise, Dave and I have very similar routines in our workday to work through.
Might as well mention prioritizing them.
Yeah, very much so.
Yep.
Because when you said procurement, I'm like, well, that's my number one,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And then my other tasks kind of flow behind that because I have to get those done. Those are more important.
And they say choose an existing habit you have that can act as a catalyst to make you work ready. And it's like, okay, like we just talked about, now I'm working. I've opened my email, I've answered my voicemail, whatever it might be. Then you know you're
Okay, that's
earning your
good.
pay.
My routine at work first thing is to check my messages
Yep.
and see if there's anything important in there,
Yep.
and kind of prioritize my messages and tasks from there,
Yep.
and then move into the rest of my routine.
Yep.
Yeah, so good point. So, schedule deep work time and meeting time.
Yeah, along with the whole routine idea is deep work time and meeting time. You know, I think kind of touching base on this whole topic with remoteness, we're in a lot of meetings nowadays, at least I know I am.
Yeah,
So making sure we have those blocked accordingly, but the deep work is important. That's where you're going to want to block your best, most productive time for those high level tasks that you need to focus on
That you
and not be
really-
distracted.
yeah.
And you know when you're productive,
Mhm.
right?
Oh yeah, we
when-
mentioned that. We mentioned our
Are you a morning person? Are
circadian
you-
rhythm.
you know, do you need your coffee or do you need your lunch and then you know?
Some people are really productive in the mornings.
Yep.
Some people the afternoons
Mhm.
So
Oh,
do this, you know, do the thing that you're
need the deep
being
work.
paid to do.
Yeah, the important thing, the deep work, right?
Yep.
During those productive times, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So then another tip, number 4, is task batching. You know what that means?
I do. That means for a role like I fill at DS Tech, that means taking some of the smaller repetitive tasks I have and lumping them together and doing them all at one time. And a good example for that would be some of my forward-facing responsibilities is providing some pricing or some solutions to other some of our clients, and I could kind of sit down in 1-2 hour time frame and you know bang out a handful of those. Makes it really easy. I'm just using one platform at that time, and I accomplish multiple things. So
And they're all similar tasks
very
that you
similar,
kind of batch
almost,
together.
almost
Yeah.
copy and paste.
So this is important. Number 5 is having a designated workspace.
Right?
My home office is upstairs, away from everybody,
Away from the TV,
away from the TV.
right? The window where you watch the birds and
Hey, how'd you know?
I've seen your Facebook post. For you, a lot of deer in your yard too.
Yeah, that
Um,
silly doe that peeks in my
Mhm.
window.
Yeah. I think part of this is that what my version of this is, like I mentioned, the television, you know, if you take your lunch and this is scheduling, et cetera, take a lunch and you say, okay, I have a half an hour, so I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch a TV show. And then when that show's over, I know I got to go back to work. This ties into kind of some of the other things, and including this, don't sit in front of your television.
Have
Yes.
a workplace.
An
Don't.
office.
I know it's
Yeah.
tempting to sit in the lazy boy
Yeah.
with your feet up and your laptop, but
I don't know about you, Vinny and Dave, but I can't imagine too many professions out there that require their employees to sit in front of a television for their job.
no,
Correct. Yeah.
So,
that's okay. So track your time is next, which actually we have in place as a company-wide thing anyway.
yeah.
You know,
We have an app.
we have an app.
Yeah.
We have
We have an
to
app for everything.
put in our time. We do. There's an app for that.
You know, and not to hit this point again, but it ties into a lot of what we're talking about as well. You know, if we're talking about deep work time and maximizing your, you know, your scheduling and reserving your time for those key moments, tracking your time is important to see what you're actually working towards and
Right.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
The system we have built here at DS Tech is we do talk to our managers about how much time we spend on certain tasks, and then we shuffle that based on how things change
Like-
and new things come up. You know, it's a
And-
very
We
organic
categorize
Yeah.
our time as, you know, is this administrative, is this sales, is this meeting? So that can also be tracked, and you can go back and look and see, geez, you know, my 40 hours this week, I only had 3 hours of productive time. The rest was, which that's how it is. fine,
emergencies
but-
came up
yeah.
or whatever it is. Yeah.
But you can at least look
Mhm.
back and have a little, because I don't remember what I did.
remember what I did
I
this
was
morning.
here.
So yeah.
I was at work. But
There's also a method. What's it called again?
the Pomodoro technique.
Pomodoro technique, where
Yeah.
you work hard for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break. I don't know. I've never really tried it, but they say that you can only focus for so long, and then you got to take a break, and you're more productive that way. Believe it or not.
I think if I recall some of my early work experiences, this is considered the Union 15, I believe.
Is it? Oh.
I don't know.
Or going way back, it was your smoke break.
Well, I think that's what the Union 15
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one was turn off the notifications on your devices, especially if you're doing that deep work, right?
That's
I know that there
yeah.
are times when you really need to see your messages from each other, you know, because we're messaging each other all the time. But
And part of your job might be to answer. That could be difficult.
yeah, it could be. But
Turn off your
at least turn off your Facebook notifications. Yes.
Instagram,
Or
your,
don't check your email even at that
Oh,
designated time.
you know what?
you know?
I'm glad you said that, because in a productivity class, book, whatever I took a long time ago,
Yep.
they did say that you designate the time that you check your email too. You don't check it all day long.
Well,
You check it
Yep.
at, let's say, maybe that's the first thing I do with my cup of coffee. I check it then, and then I set aside another time in the afternoon to check it. That way I'm not constantly switching over to my email,
right.
you know, and losing productivity.
the biggest way to derail anything you're working on is to check your email and then be like, oh, I better respond to Tommy.
Right now.
And
Right
then
now.
you just stopped everything you were doing, started something else.
And
now
then you got to go back and
try to catch back up.
where was I?
again.
Right?
Exactly. Instead, finish what you were doing, then respond to the email.
Now, when we're working from home, there used to be a commute time, right? So instead of wasting that commute time, what do you think we should do?
Go for a walk.
Go for a walk. Yes, get some movement in, because we have a tendency when we're working from home to sit too much.
Not just go for a walk. Take your dog for a walk.
Oh, there you
too.
go.
Take your pet, your furry friend for a walk too. They'll love you even more. How
Okay,
cool,
we
hey?
talked about this kind of sort of use productivity tools. There's an app for
Yep,
everything.
yep.
App for everything.
Yep.
We have, you know, Outlook has tasks and to-do lists, and
Reminders.
most of our
Yeah.
companies have CRMs, you know, for communications with their customers. Number 10 is set boundaries.
This is a huge one.
Yep.
So it's kind of goes with having your workspace, your dedicated workspace. But if you have kids at home, right? Mom has to work from the, you know, I have to be really focused during this hour. So I need you to color in your book or whatever. I
Play
don't know.
outside.
Play outside.
Stay outside.
When my kids were little, I used to plan like projects for them that they would work on, you know, so,
Yep.
and they would keep busy. And they would help come up with the ideas, because that way, you know,
And not just your kids,
the husband too.
the adult kids. The adult kids need to understand.
I'm working. I'm working. I know I'm home, but I can't cook lunch for you right now because
Your
My fur baby.
Your fur
Your fur
need to
babies.
be-
Yes, definitely.
And I don't know if I should mention we have our morning Teams meeting,
Yeah.
and one of our workers is remote, and her cat will jump on the screen occasionally. And as a matter of fact, today we had one of our employees had his little 2-year-old son on his lap,
Yeah.
which was super cute. But that was just a team. So
With the note on boundaries too, it works the opposite way as well. So set your personal boundaries for the work time as well. So,
Yep.
you know, if you're working remotely from home, it's easy to work till 6, 7 o'clock at night because,
yeah,
you know, but
there is that too. You can overwork.
yeah,
Right.
you want to make sure you structure and you set yourself some personal life boundaries so you don't.
when I worked at home, I worked out of my house, I would say, not really work from home. My boss, one of my first supervisors, always told me, you need to put closure on your workday.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I am not Dave, the employee anymore. Now I am the father. Never.
Take off your basketball sneakers at that point.
That's when
and-
you
Yeah,
take off
untie your
jersey,
Yep,
shoes.
take
You're,
your jersey.
you're
off.
home now. It's time to put your sweats on.
Now you can watch the news and you've taken your walk. and
Now you can go sit on your lazy boy with
You
your.
had a good productive day.
Yes.
Is what this is all about.
Yes.
Yes.
Very good.
And then you'll feel good about yourself too, because you had a
Yes.
productive day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, make it a productive day today. And we'll see you next time. So don't forget to grab our newsletter on our website. And if you need anything, reach out.